Hello, my name is Raheel Kapadia. My Panther ID is 230-8835, and this is my final project presentation for CGS 3095 in the spring term of 2026. My paper was The Rise of Japanese Animation, and in this presentation, I'm going to speak to you about the animation growth in America and around the world and the issues this caused in piracy and copyright. The piracy and copyright issues were caused due to supply and demand issues and how content was consumed. And then there was a big population boom of the Japanese culture around the world as well, where people started learning Japanese to view these anime without subtitles. With the rise of Japanese animation became known as anime. And you would be able to see this anime all over the public. You'd be able to see it at arcades because of video games. You would be able to see it on the road because you'd see billboards for movies, and you would see posters at movie theaters of anime. You would see T-shirts from merchandise. You would see toys from merchandise. You would see people getting dressed up in anime characters at conventions to hang out with people who like anime. And then you would also see traditional Japanese attire and hear people speaking Japanese because the culture in Japan has become more widespread ever since the Japanese animation grew in popularity. Anime growth started primarily in the 1960s in the United States with shows like Astro Boy and Speed Racer. Speed Racer is very popular amongst a lot of the young people, especially when I was a child. I watched Speed Racer even. And then in the 1990s, a lot of children who were males liked the show called Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z. And then a lot of girls liked Sailor Moon. And then both genders liked Pokemon. Pokemon became a big deal amongst children because children would collect cards and play games and watch the show and watch the movie that was in theaters. Whereas Dragon Ball became a big deal amongst males and is still a big deal in the culture today and in society today, as fitness and the working out environment and the gym environment. A lot of people love Dragon Ball Z and speak about it still. If we look at the picture here, we see Goku, and we could see the main character of Dragon Ball Z and what his body looks like and why it would be looked at in the environment, the fitness environment. But not only that, this can cause problems for people as well because guys and girls in anime have unrealistic bodies and it causes body dysmorphia, which I will get to later. Anime was shown on the television, on public television, through a network called Cartoon Network. And during the day, it would be shown on Toonami. And during the night, it would be shown on Adult Swim. And on Adult Swim, there would be some more mature anime. And then during the day, it would have some mature things, but not as much as Adult Swim. And then in movie theaters, you could see Demon Slayer. You could see Chainsaw Man currently. But there was also Akira. There's Pokemon. There was Digimon, and plenty other movies too. And with this picture, you can see how popular Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z was on Toonami. Here you can see a picture of an arcade game. This is a rhythm game which involves anime music, and then it also has anime pictures all over it. You would see this walking around the arcade. There's an arcade in Pembroke Pines where you could see this exact game actually. You would also see people dressed up as anime characters going to anime conventions, competing in multiple anime games with each other. And then there are also shows that became so popular that fans developed subs and translations and dubs for shows that did not have a translation originally. Because anime became so popular and it was such an imported item and it was hard to get a hold of in America, there was a big supply and demand issue that caused a lot of piracy. This piracy happened a lot through torrents, which are files that people share online. So people would just download and share the files and then download it illegally. So this caused streaming websites such as Netflix, Hulu, High Dive, Amazon Prime, and Disney Plus to show anime on them, which combats the piracy a little bit, but not enough, because there are illegal streaming websites that you can just pirate the anime and watch it without needing to download it now. And these have a bigger catalog. They have every anime you could think of, and there's no censorship in America or any other country because of art or language or political issues. And then there's also no region locking. So it doesn't matter where you are, you can watch whatever shows you want, regardless of what country or state you're in. And these became so popular, these illegal streaming websites became so popular that now the biggest illegal streaming website has more views than Crunchyroll and Disney Plus combined. The damage caused from piracy is estimated to be $14 billion in the United States currency. This is causing lawful action to happen, but there are complications with the lawful action because these websites are way too convenient to use, and these websites are really good at avoiding any actual problems. The problem with current websites, the legal ones, is that there's paywalls, and then they keep adding more paywalls, and the economy is also getting worse. And then there's region locks, so you can't watch every anime and every show in every region, in every country, or every state. And then there's also currency problems, where if your currency in your country does not equal the amount of the United States dollar or have as much value of it, then it ends up becoming more and more expensive for you in that country, to the point where it becomes unaffordable because the economy is bad everywhere. And in the United States, the economy is better in other countries. And in other countries, it also costs more than the United States. So it becomes a big problem, and people end up pirating because of this. There is legal action for this against the websites, but the websites just shut down their website, delete their domain, create a new domain, create a new website name, and then continue doing the whole thing. And they do this for years, avoiding any problems and not having to shut down. There is a punishment in Japan, which is up to 5 years in prison and up to $35,000 United States dollars in Japan. But there was a lawsuit in America for $3.3 million. But compared to the $14 billion of damages, this is obviously not enough yet. The legal action to the users is noticeably less severe than the legal action to the website operators. You get a warning, or your internet speed gets throttled, or you could just download a VPN which says you're located at a different place, and then you avoid all problems in total. There is a counter argument to pirating and a lot of the legal actions, which is, hey, it's okay to pirate if I support in other ways, like buying merchandise, such as this toy here, or buying shirts, or CDs, or playing games, or going to conventions. That is its own moral dilemma. There is an ethical issue as well with the animators, the Japanese animators being exploited. They're working long hours, they're working overtime, and they're not getting paid very much. And there is also a moral dilemma with pirating. Then there's the body dysmorphia, which I mentioned, because the proportions of some of the anime characters. And then there's also, it is said that violent images can cause aggression. If we look at the utilitarianism theory, then all that matters is the greater good by that theory, which means it doesn't matter if people are suffering or if people are stealing, that if more people are enjoying it than people that are suffering, then it's okay. That is obviously just a theory, and that depends on what people believe in. There is a lot of overwork and underpay, which is a big global problem as well. There are global laws, so there are servers that are held in other countries that keep the files hosted, so they avoid a lot of laws with copyright. There's a lot of interest in the culture, though. A lot of people are learning Japanese to speak Japanese, and also watch anime without subtitles and without needing dub. There's a big amount of tourism, which also boomed in the economy in Japan. In conclusion, anime is growing. It is growing faster than ever, and it is still growing, and is growing just more and more every day. The laws right now are not sufficient enough to stop piracy, but the growth has helped the Japanese economy, so there is a silver lining. And here is all my references. I have 7 references here. Thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful day.